First call to the public. There's Tony, right on cue. Anyone for public comment? No. All right, Julie, treasurer's report.
Hi, everybody. Just a busy month, nothing unusual to report, I guess. We're settling with the local units, cities and townships as they're turning over their tax collections and, of course, selling our dog tags. And we are getting ready to start our move tomorrow. So we're set for three of the computers to go over tomorrow, and hopefully by the end of the day be up and running so that on Wednesday we can move the others over. And so that's where it's going to be kind of a crazy week, but that's what we're working on right now. So other than that, I don't have anything, like I said, unusual to report. It's just a busy month for us, and especially with the move, but it will be what it will be. We'll work through it. Other than that, I guess I just request that you revisit the CACS support at some point. Tabled it for this month. I'm hoping to get a chance to revisit that. Other than that, I don't have anything.
Two quick things.
Sure.
So dog licenses, wasn't there something, Julie, where the computer program became expensive for local units and vets to use?
Yeah, so the program we've been using for a number of years, one of our old IT personnel created it and made it work. And it's really been struggling. So they made it a couple of years ago. REST was able to tweak it a little more, but they're like, it's going to crash.
Okay.
So we're planning to go to BSNA dog license, which we have in our system. We've been paying for it, or it's been included in our package, from what I understand, if I'm understanding right from Tracy.
Okay.
So in order for the local units to sell using the BSNA, though, they would have to purchase. Oh. And it's at the cost of like $1,600 is that initial purchasing the program. And then it's another few hundred each year to a maintenance support fee for it. So obviously the local units that sell 10 licenses, 20 licenses, none of them are going to want to.
Even if you sold 100, what do we pay?
Right.
$4 to the local unit?
We paid $3 a license to the local unit. The only.
So they'd have to sell 800 to cover
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, we don't see that happening. We think we'll just end up selling them in our office. Now, a couple of the vets might be interested. I've let them know what's going on because they sell a few thousand. So if they sell a few thousand a year, that initial year, yeah, that $1,600 is a chunk, but it's obviously it's much more doable for them,
right? And
it's a good service for their customers.
Oh yeah.
You know, to be able for their customers to be able, and then going forward, just the few $100s a year support doesn't hurt them a whole lot. So it's looking like maybe a couple of the vets are going to continue to sell, but probably most of the local units will not, and we'll just be selling them in our office.
Okay.
Which I see that.
Yeah.
I know it's going to keep us even busier, which is a good thing because there are periods when there's not a lot going on. So I'm okay with it keeping the staff busy, and then we're going to save that $3 a license that we're paying out.
What do we pay? Like, what does that cost us? Do you know?
Oh gosh. Oh,
I mean, just approximately.
Yeah. Oh, I wish I could tell you what number.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah.
I could have it to you, let you know what it is, but it adds up. It adds up when you're paying a few $1,000s to this guy, a few thousand, $800 to this local unit, you know, $300 to this local unit. It adds up pretty quick. So those are funds that would stay with the county then instead of being paid out.
Okay, and then to the other issue on the financial literacy, I did get a call from a resident in my district Jim suggested that she call and even come speak at our meeting because she was under the impression that the Board of Commissioners was gonna approve funds to pay her taxes. She didn't so it was a lengthy conversation to get her to understand that it was a literacy program. We were not in, finally I just told her to call you.
Oh,
So-
I don't believe I talked with her. I don't know her.
You would probably recall.
I would recall, so no, I don't, I have not spoken with her. And maybe once you explained it, maybe it kind of sunk in. I don't know. But no, I didn't speak with her.
Okay, that's all I got. Anybody else?
So,
Or,
Go ahead.
just as a note on the CACS item, so it has already gone through committee, so it does not appear on the committee again, or to go through this week. If the board so chooses to take it up, they have to do so on Wednesday, and you have to take it off the table. And on Wednesday, Eric will have an opinion for you related to it. So just a rule on parliamentary procedure, I don't think we've had a tabled item since a couple of you have joined us.
no, we don't often. All right, back to Greg.
You answered my question.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, thank you. Yes. For our first agenda item, I would entertain a motion to appoint Eric Morris as the Shiawassee County Corporate Counsel of Record.
So moved.
I'll support that. Discussion.
If I might, Chairman or Chairwoman. So Eric is working for the Public Defender's Office and has served in the role of corporate counsel for Braun Kendrick for the last 2 years with us. We originally have been looking at this for the last several months, and we were originally looked at doing it in the prosecutor's office. However, the finances make more sense to do it in the Public Defender's Office, and we would buy 25% of Eric's time to serve as corporate counsel, and the other 75% would be grant funded through the grant that the Public Defender's Office receives. And as you can see, we spent $102,000 last year, $152,000 the year before that, $25,000 on Cole Stoker Toski over the last 2 years in addition. So this could save us potentially $100,000 to $110,000, I imagine, and it would roughly cost the general fund $30,000. I say roughly because there's a couple of variables. So when Eric does work for other funds, such as the Health Department, Veterans Department, anyone that is not a general fund department, we would be able to bill his time back to them just as we do the current legal billings. So next year the budget is going to be tight. I think this is a good savings for us to try this year to see if it works. We can use anything that gets way beyond his scope. We still have Cole Stoker and Toski and such on retainer, even though it's they're still working with us. We don't pay an annual retainer, I should say.
There's still counsel of record for us.
Yes, but all we need,
In addition to the other law firm.
all we need from this board is to appoint him because he's already an employee, just as the corporate counsel, because the attorney-client relationship rests with this board. He would continue for his 25% to report to me, just as he did as a vendor through Braun Kendrick.
Okay, anybody else? I think it's important to note that this is a creative solution. I'm all in favor of trying this. Our budget is going to be, as you said, a challenge. So, thinking outside the box a little bit, let's give this a try and see how it works.
Yeah.
And this year, it's already a budgeted expense for Braun Kendrick, so if it does not work, we can try something else moving forward to next year. And if it works this year, we'll have a fund savings for some other project that we may wish to do or carry it into next year or to our fund balance. But I'd rather see us take the funding and keep the funding internally and be able to use that for our employees to maintain staff as opposed to outside services.
Well, that sounds like a win-win with the public defender, and it gives us little flexibility, so I like it.
In the if we would have used the prosecutor's office, which is the statutory default, because usually the default, if you do not have corporate counsel appointed, is the prosecutor's office. We looked at that, but however, paying 25% of his time would not help when we would also have to pay the other 75% because the prosecutor's office, as we've discussed last month, is general fund pay. So this actually makes a much better solution for us in the long run.
All right, anybody else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the same. That motion carries forward to Wednesday. Our second agenda item, I would entertain a motion to accept the county clerk's year-end report and place it on file.
Support.
So moved.
Oh, support.
Support. Thank you. Any, Caroline, anything you'd like to?
Not necessarily, I think we've tried to make it pretty clear
Yeah.
as for things. The only thing I would point out with the vitals section on the marriage, birth, and death charts, when we have in there the original and then copies and recorded, that recorded number is new records. The original is when someone comes in and says, I need my marriage license. It's just showing you how many requests we get a year and then additional copies. But the recorded are actual new marriage licenses, new death number, new birth number.
Okay.
And then on the CPL part of things, we showed you the revenue that comes in, but not the expenses that go out. So like when we have money come in for each renewal and new application, it's $115. And we were generating that kind of income, but it does not show you what goes out, is because we get so much money back for every CPL license, renew and or new.
So does the state just have their fee, or how does that work for the CPL license?
We have this split in our system
Okay.
and then we get a bill once a month,
Of what you need to send them?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I
But
didn't
it
know
just
that.
shows you the kind of money that comes in from
Right.
them. That's really it. Trying to make it-
Approximately, what's the split, like half and half, or?
115 goes to us now that we've taken over this fingerprinting, and then they get $74 for new applications and 61 for renewals,
Okay.
and then we get the rest.
No, so they take a pretty
It's a
decent.
big chunk, but,
yeah.
I mean, they do most of the work, I guess, a lot of it.
Yeah, they do a lot of the background checks.
Okay.
So,
All right, any other questions on the clerk's year-end report? All those in favor of moving this forward signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. That carries, which brings us to our second call for public. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
okay.
Order, please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This is the first call to the public. Hearing none, moving on to agenda items. Item A, I will hear a motion to accept and place on file the 2022 Drain Commission Annual Report as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support it.
I'll support that.
Mr. Chairman, just so
Yes.
you know, as you're missing one member, I will, with your permission, take up my prerogative to be your third vote on.
Thank
this.
you. Okay. Mr. Drain Commissioner, would you like to speak on your report?
Well, if anybody's got any questions, they could answer them. It's pretty cut and dry, you just all the money that went out, and all the drain work we done, it's got all the assessments on it. The only thing I'd say is we're still working on our stormwater thing, and I think you got, we did stormwater. But, yeah, so we're still working on that, because you guys got, we're looking at costs, so that's the only thing we have left to work on. And we're in the process of making sure all the townships and cities and villages know we have a county stormwater program. So we make sure that they apply for a permit for stormwater, so they account for the stormwater. We've had a couple of them not apply and put a lot of impervious surface on and not accounting for the water. So we're in the process of working with townships right now to make sure they understand that comes through our office. So, if there's any other questions?
What would you say is your biggest challenge, as Drain Commissioner?
Well, right now, what we're running into problems right now is the drains that we're working on now are getting to be the ones that are gonna be a lot more expensive. A lot of trees, haven't had nothing done in probably 50, 60 years. Yeah, and so the cost is a lot more than what our maintenance is allowed. Now, our association's working on to try to change the drain code to raise the maintenance limit to 10,000 a mile. It's at 5,000 a mile right now. So, if the drain's two miles, you can spend $10,000 right now. If they did that pass, it'd be $20,000. But you can overspend the maintenance limit if you go to townships, and they pay 20% of an assessment. They can pass a resolution to overspend the maintenance limit, which we did do. I think we got 5 different resolutions last year to overspend the maintenance limit, because if we're there, it don't make no sense to just do our maintenance limit, quit, wait 2 years, and come back, try to finish the rest of it, because it just adds more cost. Because the contractors now, they never used to charge a move-in fee. Now they're charging the move-in because of the fuel costs. They're charging the move-in fee. So, yeah. Which you can't blame it, and our contractors have been keeping their price pretty low, but that's starting to creep up because they can't keep up with the fuel costs. So that's our biggest challenge right now. And then we've got some of our tiles that's been in 100 years, and they're working yet, but it's just a problem. Their capacity's not there anymore. So that's what we're starting to come across right now. I promise. And then the stormwater thing, trying to get this thing straightened out. And basically what we try to do is do a first flush, because of the Clean Water Act. We try to limit the water, put a detention pond, and limit the water that's going into the drains as if it was a sod field. Because impervious surface, it would run off a lot faster. So we're making them detain it on site and then let it off, meter it off. So it's been working pretty good. Most of the businesses know that a lot of other counties have been doing this for a lot of years. So we just find the last 2 years getting into it. So.
How's your revolving fund look?
But it helped a lot when you guys increased that 300,000. But it's with the cost that's gone up, it's it's still, you know, because by the time you pay the contractor and you try to assess that over 2 or 3 years, your money's out there for, you don't get it all back right away. I mean, you can, but some of the assessments would probably be pretty heavy on the landowners, you know. So we try and make it so that, you know, it's affordable. But it's a lot better than what it was. I mean, and we're recuperating a lot of the money that was out there from years ago too. We're finally getting them drainage straightened out, getting them assessed, and getting that 200,000 back too, so.
Yeah, right, that's an important thing.
Yeah. So, because we had about 110,000 of that money from the old voucher been out there. I mean, when Gary was in there, he got some of it back too, you know, just, they did the drain work and didn't assess it, you know. So now we're straightening that all out.
Encouraging the districts to do it.
Yeah, we're fixing the districts to do that, you know. Legal opinion, fixing the district boundary lines. And, because there is a lot of these boundary lines that have been off. And a lot of people paying on drains that shouldn't have been. Some that haven't been paying that should have been, you know, so. It's a process. I think, what are we about, 70% now?
I'd say more about 50, but after this
Okay.
year, a big chunk of it being done with the Holly,
Yeah.
50 drains being done.
We get 50 drains done this year, so we're about 50% done. And it works good when we do this because we take the drain districts and then they match up. The lines match up because we got old districts now, this district line's here and this one's over here, chunk in between, nobody's in a district.
Or
So we're matching the line. Yeah, so.
Nice for the person not in the district, you get no assessment.
That's true. So what'd you say?
or they overlap and
Yeah.
being on both.
Or
You
they,
get two assessments.
yeah, they overlap. We've had a lot of them where they overlap, so.
Okay.
But no, it's working out more, so. You know, and you know, and like this $10,000, they raised the maintenance limit, they've already raised, we can assess 10 years now, you know, but.
That's a state thing.
Yeah, well, the drain code, they went and got this passed 2 years ago before we could assess it. And there was a lot of controversy over that because the drain code says you must assess within 2 years. Okay, it don't say you have to assess that drain in 2 years. You know, for only the 2 years, it's gotta be like you could, if you didn't do that the next year, you could assess it the second year and go 3 years. That's the way we did it. And most of the drain commissioners read it that way too. Well, our lawyer tried to say, no, you gotta do the work and assess it and have it done in 2 years. Well, that would put a lot, you know, some of these landowners would get pretty hefty drain tax. You know, I mean, sure, it would only be 2 years, but the problem with this, assessing it over 10 years, then your revolving fund's sitting out there. You go too long, and then you deplete that down to where you will get right back to the same instance where we were won't be able to do any drain work, you know, so. But, is there any other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, well,
All right, thank you.
yep.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, motion passed. Next, I would approve a motion to approve the rehabilitation mortgage discharge for Sharon L. Conkis of 514 North Shiawassee Street, Owasso, John and Elizabeth Freeman of 725 Lincoln Street, Owasso, and Betty A. Matzel of 1305 South Pierce Street, Owasso.
I'll make the motion.
I will support.
Okay, comments or discussion?
This is part of an old program that we don't do anymore. These should be all coming due here pretty quick. And then it was part of a community development program that ended sometime in the maybe 2010-ish.
Okay, thank you. All right, hearing no other comments or discussion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays, motion passed. Next, I would look for a motion to approve the PA 116 farmland agreement application for Thomas and Shannon Hinterman in Bennington and Shiawassee Townships.
I'll make the motion.
Support.
All right, we have a motion with support, comment or discussion?
I would just ask the clerk to note the parcel numbers in there instead of having you guys read them.
There's 17.
Thank you.
So,
Good call.
Hearing no other comments, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion passed. Next, I would look for a motion to approve the appointment of Christina Ardley to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I'll make the motion.
I will support that.
Thank you. We have a motion with support. Comments or discussion?
I met with her, she's well qualified, very, very much, intending on being involved and learning and doing a good job.
Excellent.
she's also the only applicant.
So
Okay.
therefore, she was the best.
She was the best. All right. Hearing no other comments or discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Nays? Motion passed. All right, here's our second call to the public. Hearing none, this meeting is adjourned.